Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Welcome back for another edition of the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is the marvelous one, back at it again with Don and Philosophical. What's good with you fellas? How y'all liking these tournament games?
What's going on? Good. I do see there are a lot of upsets in these tournaments. I think this tournament is a defensive tournament. This is one of the few brackets that I looked the other day. There were 20 million brackets and 0 perfect brackets. So this has been an unpredictable defensive tournament. I'm loving it.
Man,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
loving it because you get to see the effect of the portal, the true effects of the portal, and also the NIL. Whereas though you don't see the blue bloods like Duke and Kentucky staying around long, you see the talent being spreaded, and the one and dones used to be the new phenomena, and now people are really evaluating: do I really want to invest in a one and done, or do I want to grab a couple of kids that's been battle tested and then still build a 5-year, 4-year program?
Yeah, well, that's a
Mhm.
good point. Now, is it there's a lack of one and dones, or these colleges, these schools aren't interested in the one and dones no more? Because because you can go to the G League, you can go to Europe, you got other options other than college now. But yeah, no, that's a good point. And if you're really looking at it, this probably speaks to the upsets that we're seeing this season, this tournament
Mhm.
season, right? We got Foreman beating number 4 Virginia, but Virginia got a history of losing in the first round as a high seed, right?
Yep.
Right? Who
Facts.
they lose to
Yep.
before?
Also Purdue,
UMBC,
but Purdue,
right?
yeah, because Purdue got upset last year by who was it? St. Peter's. So this 2 years in a row.
Yeah, right. Oh,
No.
and as a number 1 seed.
St. Peter's beat Kentucky last year.
Was that right?
Yeah,
I
St.
know they
Peter's
beat
beat.
Kentucky. I know they beat someone, but I know this ain't the first time that Purdue got bumped.
I may be wrong.
Well,
Purdue this year lost to FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson.
Purdue, but I think it was like the second rounder. So I don't think it was the first round Purdue lost last season.
Okay.
I don't know, but Purdue's getting bounced early, and it kind of speaks to they run this a slow pace type of an offense that probably doesn't play well into the tournament games where it's more frantic. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But the one that surprised me was Princeton over Arizona, and I don't know why I doubt Princeton every year. You know, Princeton seems to cause problems every year, so that was a big one over Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to be said about what's happening in college basketball and how it's kind of feeding into this parity that we're seeing now, where we got a lot of low seeds beating some of these high seeds and making runs to the Sweet 16 and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, how you guys looking at the Sweet 16? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Because right now
Um,
we got Alabama at San Diego. Well, Alabama playing San Diego State first.
I got
that
Alabama. I
that
got Alabama beating them. Alabama, they got too much depth in their guard play. Is phenomenal. San Diego State, they play very good defense, but in order to win games like this, they're gonna have to make a substantial amount of threes, and they're gonna have some. They're gonna have to have some Steph and Klay Thompson moments. I don't think they'll
Mm.
be able to survive a veteran team like Alabama. But that'll be a good game. But I got Alabama winning by double digits.
By double digits. Wow. Yeah,
uh
I got to go with Alabama too. Who you got,
historically,
philosophical?
yes, historically, San Diego State plays pretty tough. I think it'll be a close game. I can see them winning, Alabama winning by about 5 or 6 points. I think it'll be close. I don't think it'll be double digits.
I don't think it's going to be double digits either because San Diego State is usually here. Sweet 16, Elite 8. They
Yeah.
play well in these tournament games. So I think it's going to be a close one. But I think Alabama's number 1 seed for a reason.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
next we got Creighton and Princeton. I'm going with Princeton.
Yeah. So Princeton plays big in the post, but they're gonna need just like San Diego State and a lot of these low ranking teams. They're gonna need to win a lot of 3-point battles. I think that Creighton is going, win just because look how they played Baylor. They played Baylor extremely tough. So I like the way they're not like their rotation. So I think they have enough veteran backcourt in order to sustain any type of turn or tide that Princeton tried to throw up. So I got them moving forward with the Elite Eight.
I'm gonna pick.
I think.
Oh,
Well, I was
good.
just gonna say. I mean, I think Princeton lucked up with this bracket that they're in. So but who you got, Phil?
I'm gonna go with Princeton too. I think historically Creighton has not been done well in the tournament. I'm gonna go on a limb and say Princeton also. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be about 2 or 3 points here.
Yeah, I think so too. You're right about Creighton not doing so well in these tournaments. I mean, this is probably as far as they've gone before. So yeah, I got Princeton winning this too. All right. So we got Florida Atlantic against Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee. Don.
So that's very interesting because I'm going with Florida Atlantic, and here's why. Look how they played Duke. That was extreme. They turned that into bully ball 101. That's how you take a bunch of.
You talking about Tennessee? Tennessee played Duke.
Yeah, that's right. Tennessee played Duke.
Yeah, Tennessee played Duke. But at the same time, I'm just saying, a lot of the Blue Bloods, they're out of it. But I got them like with their 3-point that they made throughout the game. And listen, they were 33 and 3 throughout the season. So this team knows how to win. So they're not a team that's like, we won our conference and here we are. No, they proven veterans. They only lost 3 games throughout the season. 18 and 2 and 33 and 1. I mean 33 and 3.
Yeah.
So and they played.
What
so
conference
they know how to
in?
win.
They're in the I'll tell you in a second.
I don't think it's very competitive.
I don't think so either. I think they're in the I mean, it ain't like they playing tough teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so much about playing tough teams, it's about watching the ball go in the hole. So yes, they played in the USA conference, but at the same time, I mean, they played elite competition throughout there and they had some big wins and things of that nature. But I'm looking at Tennessee. This is not no easy walk in the park. I mean, you don't have you have a dull moment. And I'm telling you, the NIL is alive and well in these brackets, and I'm telling you, Florida. Florida, Atlanta. I mean, they're going to do big things, and I'll stick with that pick on that one.
Okay.
I will say, looking on, I just happened to look at Florida Atlantic schedule. They're not playing anybody good in the Conference USA. I mean, they playing teams like Rice.
You've been wrong before, Phil, but continue.
Louisiana Tech.
Yeah,
Rice, UTEP. I mean, they blowing these teams out by 40. I mean, they lost to Middle Tennessee. I mean, they blowing these teams out by 40 a game.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee was pretty good this year. They split with them. UTSA, UTEP, North Texas. I mean, they beating nobodies in the Conference USA. I mean, the Conference USA used to be good.
And they got Fairleigh Dickinson in the round of 32.
Yeah, they beat a Memphis team. Yeah, they beat a Memphis team by 1. That to say, you know what? I don't like the way Tennessee plays. They are a strong defensive team. They're missing. I don't like the way I don't like the way Tennessee plays. They're missing their main piece on their team. They played one of the weakest Duke teams in a while. I mean, they had a bunch of freshmen, a new coach. It's gonna take some time for them to gel. So I think this is gonna be an upset. I don't think Tennessee has the firepower to beat FAU.
What? You said all that to say you agree.
I'm choosing
all of that. You went through FAU's schedule.
Absolutely. But I don't believe in Tennessee. So I'm gonna choose FAU. I saw FAU when they played Fairleigh Dickinson and when they played Memphis. FAU is they can beat Tennessee, but I do think it'll be close. It'll be like a 3 or 4 point game. So I'm choosing FAU here. I don't like Tennessee. I just don't like Tennessee. I've never
Tennessee's a 10-point 5-point favorite. So really you got them, a 10-point favorite, basically. Thank you.
So
okay.
So guys, I don't think this is the one I don't even think is gonna be close. This is gonna be a blowout. This is gonna be like a 20-point win by Tennessee. It's not even going to be close.
Wow.
I mean, come on, dude. Tennessee is going to destroy them. It's not going to be close.
Wow.
I mean, they beat Duke by 13, and FAU struggled against Fairleigh Dickinson. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be close. I'm going with Tennessee. All right, next up we got Kansas State against Michigan State. So I kind of consider Michigan State like, one of the blue bloods here. I mean, they're not the Kentucky, the Dukes, or the North Carolinas, but I mean, come on, man, it's Michigan State, baby. So I like the way Kansas State played, but I think Michigan State is going to win this. They've been there before. Who you got, Don?
All right, so I'm gonna go with K-State. And
wow.
And K-State, they played Kentucky real tough, and
Yeah.
and they fought off every run. And if you look at Kentucky, Kentucky's known from grabbing those quick to be one and dones and go overseas guys. So they had a time. They were a more talented team, even though their seed didn't rank that. They had true hoopers on that floor. And I see K-State handled that. They handled that well under pressure and on the neutral floor. So I'm gonna go with KSU on this one.
Hey, look, I grew. I like how Kansas State played because that young kid Marquise Noel.
Yeah.
Yo,
I think he was a transfer, right?
Top.
Yeah, I think he was a transfer.
He was a transfer. I know he's 5'8". He's the littlest kid out there, man.
Yeah.
But he's got the biggest heart.
Yeah.
So who you got, Phil?
I'm not picking against Izzo. I like Izzo. I like the way he coaches his teams. I'm picking Michigan State here. Michigan State, man, no matter what team they have, it just seems like Izzo knows how they make it to the Elite Eight with nothing every year, it seems like.
Exactly. So, you forget about them. In some kind of way, they make it to the Elite Eight or Final Four. And I like Kansas State. I like how they play, but they're playing against Michigan State. Izzo is there as their head coach. He's one of the finest coaches that's left in the tournament.
Yeah.
I can't go against him.
And he might skate to the Final Four if he play FAU in the Elite Eight.
Y'all keep picking these great coaches. These great coaches is not making one step on the floor.
He's the only one.
No,
I just want to articulate.
But it means more in college basketball. Now, if you're talking NBA basketball, okay, I'm going with the best player. But in college basketball, I'm going with the best coach.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, if they got to play FAU in the Elite Eight, man, Michigan State may skate right to the Final Four.
Yeah.
It just so happens that they're not going to get past KSU.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. and if they get FAU, well, they're not going to get FAU because Tennessee going to beat them by 20. All right, moving on.
Bracket's still going to be clean. Stay tuned, folks.
Yep, stay tuned. All right, so next we got Houston against Miami. So, this is a tough one. This is the game I want to watch. Yeah, this is the game I'm going to be on. So, I got Houston winning this over Miami, and I really like Miami, but I got Houston going. Don, who you got?
That's gonna be a tough one when you look at it, because right now, Houston been playing big, and Miami they got big games, and especially as far as good guard play. But I just don't think that they can deal with Houston.
I don't think so either.
Houston's one of the only teams in this bracket that I think that could give Alabama a good run. So I got Houston running away with this one.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I think it's gonna be close, but I hear you. I like Houston.
Yeah.
Now that what they just did with Auburn, they're gonna run away with this one.
I like Houston too, but I think it'll be like a 10-point win. Don's talking about it's gonna be a blowout. You talking like it's gonna be a blowout. I like Miami.
It's a blowout right now. Yeah.
I like Miami too. I think they're a little bit identical, but Houston's defense is just stifling. So I think that will be the key here. I got Houston in this one.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Too.
I like Miami. I like Miami, but
me too.
Houston,
me too.
I like Miami.
Houston's got too much.
Houston, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next, Xavier versus Texas. I'm not really sure where to go with this one. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna just go with Texas on this, but I'm not really too sure about these two teams. What do you guys think? I'll play off of you two.
I'm gonna go with Texas too. I think, and both teams are evenly matched. I mean, they're one of the few that actually made it out their brackets. I mean, they came through pretty much unscathed. They've been playing up to their potential. I think Xavier had a little scare in the first one when they played Kennesaw State, but I think right now I don't think Xavier can withstand any type of battle because I mean they Pitt was pretty much in that game, but they blew them out in the end. But Texas, I think they run hard and they got a good big man. And I think they're gonna run that floor well.
Mm.
So
Phil.
I'm picking Xavier here. This is one of those teams. I like that coach, Chris. Great coach, Sean Miller. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Yeah, I remember he was in Arizona.
He was in Arizona. Yeah,
Yep.
then went to Ohio State. Now he's at Xavier. I like Xavier here. I don't like Texas, man. They get rid of their coach, Chris Beard, and then they got an interim coach. And I mean,
no, Shaka Smart is in Texas, right? No, he left Texas. That's
Shaka
right.
Smart's at Marquette.
That's right. He was in Marquette.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
I like Xavier here. So I'm gonna go on a limb and pick Xavier here by about 6 points.
Okay. 6 points, man. Okay. You guys predicting scores here.
I ain't got about no 6. So you got that's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
That's a bold prediction by 6?
Yep.
Yeah, because Texas got him by 4, so he's saying it's gonna be a 10-point swing. Ain't no way in the world it's gonna be a 10-point swing.
Okay.
So what you got? You got Xavier winning or Texas winning? I'm trying to remember.
I got Texas winning. I got Texas winning by, but I mean the books say 4, but I got Texas winning by 6.
Okay.
All right. I can't argue with that. All right. So here's the one. Another good one I want to see.
This could be a good
Arkansas.
game.
Yeah. And UConn. But I got Arkansas winning this. I like their coach. NBA head coach there. So I got Arkansas winning, even though they're 8 seed going up against the 4. I got Arkansas over UConn. What you got, Don?
Man, this one gonna be tough. I would go with UConn, and right now because of the size advantage, UConn is just big. They one of the few last big teams, and they big. They not only big, they got depth. So you got a lot of big men that can keep everybody from driving in that middle. So if you're shooting that 3, then you can pull them out and make them play man. But if they can extend that zone and sit in there, you're not driving down that lane. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. But the Razorbacks, boy, they play tough, man. I like them, man. I like how the Razorbacks
they
play.
skated past Kansas, so I'm not going to give them a big hats off and kudos. I mean, they skated, but you're not going. You're not. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, Kansas is a big, strong team, dude.
UConn, they've been demolishing people on their way, and they ain't been playing with their food. They straighten up and saying, "Hey, we here."
Not playing with their food.
They're not playing with their food. They've been demolishing. Like, hey, I'm that guy. That's what that score. You look at them scores. They say, hey, Las Vegas, y'all got it right because I'm that guy.
Okay, who you got, Phil?
I like Arkansas here. I like Arkansas's guards. I think that'll be the difference playing UConn. I like Arkansas here, but about 4.
Okay. All right.
So.
We'll see. All right, and lastly,
let me not cut you. I'm sorry. Arkansas by what?
4.
He said 4.
Man, you always trying to go with 10-point swings, and it's no way. You can say they can barely skate out, but there's no way that you're going to see these 10-point swings. Where are you getting your information from, Phil? Please let me know.
Hey, man. Hey, if this was the NFL, like I did win that tournament, you know what I'm saying?
Boy.
You know what I mean? I got a track record. I got a track record.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So
don't be questioning Phil's picks. He said by 4.
Yeah.
He said by 4.
Yeah.
His bracket, his bracket shows why he picked what he picked. Continue.
All right. Lastly, we got Gonzaga, UCLA. This is a tough one here. I'm gonna go with Gonzaga, man. I mean, look, they've been at this for a long time, man. They keep inching closer and closer. So I think Gonzaga gets past it. I think they know how to win. So I got Gonzaga. Don, who you got? What's the point spread?
So they got UCLA by 1.5. So they might as well say it's a pick 'em.
Yep.
But what you just said, I'm gonna go with Gonzaga. I think this is their time to make it through the brackets. I mean, and this is one of the teams that they grow their own. So
Yeah.
they got 4 or 5 year players and guys on
Yep.
that team that know the system, that know how they can go through some trials and tribulations. It's just not their first time seeing the
Yeah.
big lights and playing on these big neutral
Yes,
grounds
sir.
like this, and being able to weather a storm, a 10 point run, and then have to come back, and that they're not going to be easily beat like that. And I think, not to say that UCLA is not a big time team, but I'm just saying, I don't know how long them guys been playing together. I know Gonzaga guys
Right.
been playing together. The
Right.
core been
They've
playing
been there
together for at
before.
least 4 years. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and that includes the bench. So I'm gonna run
Yeah.
with them just because of the depth of them playing together, and also if somebody like I said, if somebody gets in foul trouble, they know the system. Whoever's coming off the bench, they know the system, and guess what? They're prepared.
Yeah. Phil.
I predicted UCLA to win the whole tournament, and that's what I'm sticking with. I'm picking UCLA to beat Gonzaga.
Are you talking about the bracket that's the 20th bracket where you pick UCLA to win?
Facts.
Doesn't matter. Let's talk about the present here. So I'm picking UCLA. I can still get up in the top 5, which still gives me some credibility.
You get up in the top 10.
I can get up in the top 5.
We did the math.
I didn't get
The
up in the
top
top
5 would be
5.
a stretch. But
Oh, it's not
okay,
a stretch. It's not a stretch. It's not a stretch.
okay,
Watch.
okay. I mean, because right now Don is leading.
Remember, Don was leading the NFL bracket, and look what happened. He fell to the bottom. Like Biggie said, he's small like
you rain on
leprechauns.
top. Short like
Small like leprechauns.
Well, I mean, right now he's leading our bracket challenge with skills 247, tied for first right now. You both got 430 points, but Don can max out at 1430, and
Easy.
skills 247 has a max of 1390 that he can get. So yeah, I mean, our bracket challenge is pretty tight. I'm down here in the 8th spot, but I can max out with 1580 points. So watch out. I'm gaining on you.
Yeah,
Now,
but hey,
hang on, Phil. Let me scroll to the bottom so I can see where
okay.
you at. Okay, I see you.
Tournament's not over. The tournament's not over, so it's fine.
It's not over. Okay,
just like the NFL season wasn't over at week 6, and then I went on that stretch, and then Don was at the bottom, of course, where he belongs.
Yeah. So. Well, let me get my boy who's actually last, even though I got you last at the bottom, Phil, but you didn't make any picks. Apparently that's a busted bracket, but my boy who's just so I don't get fined bracket is really last. So Nelson, I'm calling you out, dude.
But Marv, also shout out to everyone that participated. We appreciate your support.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, appreciate you guys joining us for this bracket challenge, man. Fun stuff, man. Try to keep the love going. Appreciate you all on here. Which one is Joey the GM, man? Which one is he?
I don't know, Pay. Find which one is like close to the bottom.
Last, we got Phil and my boy Nelson at the bottom. So Joey must be 19. No, that's you, Don. He's somewhere at the bottom. He got to be at the bottom. That's where him and the Lakers stay, at the bottom.
10 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah,
he all excited about the Lakers making the play-in game. Okay, stop it.
Yeah, but jump into that NFL, Marv, because there's a lot of good things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's so much. I mean, NFL is year round, baby. Come on, man. Let's talk about this Aaron Rodgers Jets saga that just continues. I mean, when is this dude going to join the Jets? And how much are the Jets going to continue to accommodate his demands? They got to accommodate his demands as well as the Packers' demands, because they just recently made a trade where they got Hardman from the Browns and got an additional second-round pick so they can add to the offer that they can make to the Packers for Rodgers.
They got who?
Rodgers has already said.
Wait a minute, they got who?
He got Hartman.
Jets trading wide receiver Elijah Moore to Browns.
Oh,
Okay.
they must have signed Hardman.
Yeah, they signed Hardman. Okay. And then the
They
Jets are
signed
trading
Hardman. Okay.
Elijah Moore to the Browns. Oh, that's a big move for the Browns.
Yeah. So they got
Oh,
the second
wow.
pick from the Browns
Oh yeah,
from
this
Elijah
is
Moore.
definitely Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, this is all
Yeah,
about Aaron
this is
Rodgers.
all
Absolutely.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So they're trying whatever they can to get Aaron Rodgers. They got their heart set on this guy. He is the savior. So hopefully he doesn't fail him.
I think they
Because
playing.
this would be embarrassing.
They're playing tremendous bully ball when it comes down. I mean, shout out to the Packers. I mean, they're not being pushed over just like they was pushed over for the Brett Favre trade.
Yeah, I was gonna
They're
say they
going
got
to make sure they
experience with
get
this. Yeah,
maximized. Yeah.
yeah.
But why do they care? That's the thing I don't understand. Why make a big deal? You don't want Aaron Rodgers back. This is Jordan Love's team.
Because
Yes.
So why are you making a big deal?
they know how desperate the Jets are.
You must be right because they got the leverage over him.
Yeah, they
They're
got the
like, you know
leverage.
what? We really don't want Aaron Rodgers, but since you're the only team making a play for him,
And just think about
you're
it.
bidding against yourself.
And just think about it this way: all the quarterbacks have signed. Only one really
Yep.
left is Lamar Jackson, and I don't think the
Right.
Jets are going to go after Lamar Jackson. So it's like, okay, we got the last quarterback left that you want. You know, the draft is coming up. How desperate are you?
But
They're basically bidding against themselves.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that because if you look at the talk of it, if I was Jets and without going into collusion and things of that nature, Lamar would be a better run. Making them run at Lamar would be a better run than running at the earn. Because just because you get earned this year, don't mean that you will be able to keep him
He may
next year.
retire next year. Yeah,
He
he
may
may
retire
retire
next
next
year,
year.
and you're in the same situation. And look what you gave up to get him.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
So
they got Aaron Rodgers' coaching staff. That's the thing about it. They got his former coordinator. He's making all these signings.
he wasn't winning in
Yeah,
Green Bay with him. Try again.
He was there with him.
but I think that's his point. Regardless of who's there with the Jets who's telling them, hey, you need to get Aaron. Aaron is he's at the tail end of his career. We don't even
Yeah.
know how much he got left in the tank because he looked bad last season. So I don't know. I think the Jets are really gambling on this.
Hey, you
I
know
mean,
the Jets also gamble with Brett Favre too. Remember, same thing with Brett Favre.
yeah,
Okay.
and then
Same
I
thing
guess
with
after,
Brett Favre. Yeah.
but I guess after a year or two with the Jets, he'll be in Minnesota with you.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on a tangent for
We'll
two
take him.
seconds. Hey, but listen to this. I mean, you got to look at past history and your and what you've done as far as your behavior.
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers have never been that guy to show up to camp early and actually start developing and gelling with the team, getting everybody, okay, you slow coming out the route. I got to be able to understand that, so I probably don't want to put as much on it. I can put some touch on it because you got good hands. I know what your catch radius is because you got big hands. I know I probably had to put it on your body because you got small hands. Those are the things that you learn when you're going through the OTAs and things of that nature. Brett Favre's not showing up for those. He's going to be in
Right.
Cancun.
Aaron
He's going to
Rodgers.
be in for Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be, yeah, hey, same.
But
He's
yeah,
going to be over
same
there.
thing.
But
Neither one
yeah,
of them
Yeah,
did.
same thing.
neither
Same
one of
thing.
them going to be there. And they're not about team chemistry. And here's the funny part that nobody's paid attention to. Brett Favre, you've been playing in Green Bay with that. You can go up to the NY with that crap, and they're going to roast you. Hey, talking to
You mean
somebody,
Aaron
talk,
Rodgers?
yeah, hey, Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers, same,
Rodgers. Yeah.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. When you come out these small markets, man, when you're coming out these
Yeah,
small
yeah,
markets, it's been all about you for the past
yeah.
10 years, and now you're gonna go to a big market, and now you're gonna be
Mm,
tell NY to kiss your backside. That's not gonna ride well for you. And I don't think
right.
I think, and believe it or not, that can go against you because guess what? He can be that guy and fold like hot butter on a goddamn pan. And now instead of for 2 years, 3 years, you got him for 1 year, and you playing that same
Well,
rodeo, but you just playing it in a different
I,
theater.
look, I'll say this much. I'm not saying that he's going to be bad. I'm just saying that he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers of old. He's going to be a scaled down Aaron Rodgers, which is still better than Zach Wilson, which is still 10 times better than Zach Wilson. But it's not the Aaron Rodgers that we know and love.
You're talking
That was
football. I'm
that was
talking
dominating.
football. Yeah, but Marv, you're right. You're talking football. I'm talking about football and the media. Them two go hand in
Yeah.
hand with New York. And I don't think he's ever had that much attention. It's one thing to have the attention of Green Bay and you can control the narrative. You're not gonna control the narrative. Man, them fans will boo you just because you threw an interception and you was just leading. I don't think he ever went through that in Green Bay.
I don't think them
I don't
fans
think
will
it matters.
boo Aaron Rodgers.
Man, you underestimate New York.
I don't think they'll boo Aaron Rodgers. They'll just be happy to have. They'll just be happy to have a capable quarterback, better than what they have.
No, if Aaron Rodgers tried the same shenanigans that he did up in Green Bay, talking about hey, where's my silver spoon at and things of that nature, it's not gonna ride well in New York.
He probably negotiating that now to say, hey, I'm not coming to OTAs. I'm not coming to all that stuff. Trade me after OTAs.
He'll be there.
Once again, why are you giving up so much to get him? For 1 year, and you're not even guaranteed.
Because the Jets are desperate to win now.
They're desperate to get a quarterback. They never had one.
Okay, so let's go over to that. Why not give up 2 number ones and get Lamar and put that pressure on Baltimore and say, hey, if you want Lamar, here's what it's going to take him away from us.
Well, Lamar. I'm sorry to say this, Lamar can't get them winning like Aaron Rodgers can get them winning.
Watch your mouth.
They can't. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, one, they don't have the personnel. Two, they have
better receivers. They have just as good as a
defense. But they have made signings around Aaron Rodgers.
So the Jets just don't want him. I just think Lamar's situation is complicated because he's pretty much restricted by the Ravens. The Ravens have franchised him, and so you got to give up 2 first-rounders. And you got to pay him the largest contract in the league. So it's really just complicated by that. And everybody knows whatever team makes an offer to Lamar, the Ravens are going to match it. That's why the Ravens did this. They have the leverage over Lamar.
Unless it's an astronomical number. If a desperate team comes out of nowhere and says, hey, because Lamar's saying, I don't want guaranteed money. But if a team comes out and says, hey, we'll give you guaranteed money, then what?
I think the Ravens going to match it. I think whatever he gets, the Ravens are going to match it.
If they give 100% guarantee, you think the Ravens are going to match it?
They have to.
The Ravens are going to match it.
We don't listen.
We'll take them 2 first-round picks in a heartbeat. They're
going to have to do a lot of explaining to Baltimore. We'll set that stadium on fire. They don't want that.
Anyway, moving on. We got the draft coming up next month. We're going to get some guests on the show to talk about their teams and what they believe the teams are going to draft. I mean, I'm not going to participate in it because my team drafted 29th. I don't know who the hell they're going to get. But anyway, we can get some fans on here to talk about their teams. So right now, I mean, the big thing going on now is who does Carolina pick with the number 1 pick? This worries me. Me because the Panthers have made some pretty big moves this offseason. They got Miles Sanders. They brought in Allen Thielen from the Vikings. So they made some smart moves. They already had a pretty good defense, and then they brought in Andy Dalton, who's probably going to back up this number 1 draft pick because you don't take a kid number 1 and have him ride the bench. So I think whoever they take, they're going to start, which is probably C.J. Stroud. So I got the Panthers doing that, but we'll see a little bit more. Today is Wednesday. Strauss's pro day was supposed to be today.
Mm-hmm.
Young's pro day is tomorrow. So, you got the big 4 quarterbacks pro days coming up. So I think things are going to get really hashed out then. And then we're going to hear a little bit more about who the Panthers may take and who may follow. But, we got a lot coming up leading up to the draft. So we got a month where we can start talking a little bit more draft and what's going to happen. So, I mean, what you guys thinking about the draft?
I'm going to tell you what's going to be the most intriguing portion to me is that just like a lot of people got it wrong with Lamar, I think a lot of people got it wrong with Anthony Richardson. And I want to see, and I sense people are getting scared because the mobile quarterback makes up for having a bad line a lot. Look at Hurts. And if you put and I'm interested to see here's gonna be the real telltale sign. Fields, what he does in Chicago this year moving forward, if he makes the same transition that Hurts did, that's going to speak about the Pop Warner footballs that nobody wanted. And then, and here's the funny part: I got Richardson going down to Seattle because I think Pete sees it.
You think so? I think they're going to draft Jalen Carter
I think Pete sees
because
it.
they gave Gino all that money.
Yeah, but guess what? He can sit behind Gino for 2 years.
Yeah, Gino's got a 3-year deal.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, and he sees the athleticism, and he teaches that guy how to read defenses, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna sit in the room for you like for 2 years." So guess what? Even though he's a project, but he's a project that said, guess what? NFL, you're gonna have to invest in me, and whoever's gonna invest in me. Guess what? If I'm gonna take a rookie contract, and that's what's happening in the league now. Remember when they started locking down how much a quarterback could make because they used to come out and sign these ridiculous contracts, and then you had quarterbacks that were big busts because I mean everybody have made bad picks on quarterbacks for the longest time, but now they said that okay, fine, we're gonna keep on these rookie deals, and that's why under the rookie deals you try to maximize around the defense and pay everybody else before that player that come up on that big contract like Lamar, and you really and Pat Mahomes, and you have to pay him just like Flacco. Flacco won at the end of his rookie deal when he won the daggone Super Bowl. We had to pay him that money because he was winning the playoffs all throughout the time, and then at the end of his rookie contract, he won the Super Bowl. But nobody figured that Flacco was going to bust like he did. But he went through injuries, and then he went through fatherhood, and he said, "Man, I got enough cash. I'm good. I'll be a backup." So moving forward, I think with the Lamar situation and with the Hurts situation, and then everybody's looking at Fields, I think Richardson is going to be the next big choice.
Well, yeah, I think the Lamar example is a good example because Richardson can go somewhere where there's already an established quarterback, can sit there, and they could see more of him during preseason games and practice, how he does against that, just like they did with Lamar. And I'm sure what happened in Baltimore is they saw this dude in practice and they saw him in preseason, and they was like, they looked at him and they looked at Flacco. And they look back at Lamar, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we gotta make that transition." Just like Patrick Mahomes and
Alex Smith.
I mean, come on, guys. Patrick Mahomes
That's a great
Alex
analogy
Smith.
on that one. Yes.
Yeah, and they saw in practice. It was, oh, Alex, man, we love you. We can get to the second round of the playoffs with you, but this kid behind you, man, look, we're gonna do you right. We're gonna send you to Redskins, and we know you're gonna start. Then we're gonna try to do you right, but you're gonna have to go.
We're gonna get you your money, But
we're gonna do you right, but you got to go. So yeah, I mean, if Richardson pans out to be who he is, I think he'll fall into a good situation where he can grow. So, what you thinking, Phil?
And you made me think for a second. You know what I mean? They're going to draft Anthony Richardson #1, and they can have Andy Dalton play next year, and they can still win the NFC South with Andy Dalton.
I think that's too risky.
You think so?
Yes, because he's 2 years. He's 2 years of growing that needs to be done.
Yeah, but they can start Andy Dalton. They can start Andy Dalton next year and still win the NFC South, right? And build and gradually grow pieces around him next year.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but the risk is after Andy Dalton, after that 1 year is up, and then you had the year of watching Richardson in preseason and in practice, and he doesn't pan out. He looks like what's the guy with the Titans, Willis?
Oh, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, who did not look good. You're taking a risk there. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they, you don't move all the way up to #1 to take a project.
But Phil, you're right as far as them want to make that choice, but they can't, and here's why: because the fans are going to force them to say, "We want to win now." With Seattle, they got Gino. They got Gino. Gino can win.
But Seattle's situation is different than Carolina's, right? Seattle's got to win now. So they're like, man, we need to fix the defense. We got to be, because they just went to the playoffs last year with Gino, right? Pete Carroll's an old coach. They had a great draft last year there. The expectations move up. Carolina, they got a new coach, new GM, new organization, traded away DJ Moore. They got a bunch of new pieces on offense, bunch of new pieces on defense. Frank Wright's a good coach. Get his quarterback in there. I'm seeing
I
some
can't.
signs. I'm seeing
Phil,
some signs here. I'm seeing some signs here. They went out and got a veteran quarterback that can get you. He can win them 6-7 games next year.
Phil, I
Tampa
cannot
Bay.
see the.
Tampa Bay is
I
bad. Think about it. Tampa Bay is bad, right? It's going to be bad. Atlanta is going to be bad. The Saints are going to be the only viable option. And they're like, man, we can still win this NFC South. Andy Dalton in there. Let some of these young players play.
Well, Phil, you don't have to move up to the number 1 overall pick to get Richardson. They could have stayed where they were.
And still got CJ Stroud.
No, it got
And still got CJ Stroud.
Richardson. They didn't have to move up to number 1. I think it's a stretch. I hear what you're saying. His combine.
But they moved up. They moved up to number 1 after the combine results. Think about it. After the combine results.
Who have you seen who went number 1 overall, who didn't perform well during college, during his college season? His college career was not impressive, but his combine results were impressive, and be selected number 1 overall. That's a stretch. Even Patrick Mahomes, who didn't have a lot of success in college, but looked great during the combine and during his workouts, didn't even get selected number 1 overall. I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's a gamble, but
it's a gamble. Yeah,
I don't see the Panthers.
But why would Seattle take him? Why would Seattle take him?
Well, because they're picking late. They already got an established quarterback, so they don't have to rely on this kid to come right in. They can take that gamble. Like, I would like the Saints to take that gamble, but they wouldn't because they don't like winning.
I mean, I do think, but I tell you some places. I tell you right now, a bad situation for Anthony Richardson to go to is the Colts. Somebody like Houston. I do agree. He does need to sit for at least a year. I do think Seattle's a good situation for him, and I think Carolina's a good situation for him. Even the Raiders, right? Even the Raiders will be a good situation for him. Sitting behind Garoppolo for 2 years.
Yeah,
will be a good situation. You say no, Don?
I don't like the Raiders organization as a whole. I think they juggle the roster too much and there's no stability. And I think the offensive coordinator, I think his days are numbered if he just makes the wrong move. So
even a better situation. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that's why I said Seattle, just because of where Pete is. Pete is an experienced college coach, and he's also an experienced NFL coach. So I think that he could give that kid the nurturing, and I think Geno gives him the coverage.
The cover.
What about Detroit?
That he need from the fans. I think Detroit needs to win right now. Detroit, every team needs a big bang. When you, hold on. Which your old coordinator said? I mean, your old coach Marvin. He said when you are picking in the first round. I mean,
you got to pick a prototypical quarterback. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to take the sure thing.
Yeah.
If you're picking first overall, you got to take the sure thing. You cannot take
Sean Payton. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we took Reggie Bush second overall because he was considered the sure thing. And even if he turns out not to be that great, he's still good enough to make an impact. Like even Reggie Bush, he wasn't, Walter Payton or Barry Sanders like we hoped he would be, but he turned out to be a very viable, useful player, catching a lot of passes out of the backfield, catching a lot of screen passes from Drew Brees. And he occasionally can run out of the backfield. So he turned to be a great player. So the sure thing is those top 2-3 picks. You can't miss with those.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You had to do a lot of losing to get that.
But is CJ Stroud the sure thing to you guys?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
NFL
I think he's more of a sure thing than Young.
NFL ready and pro body.
So you don't think Bryce Young's going to be good?
I think he's going to be good, but I really I'm gonna hold that line up to protecting that young man because believe it or not, I look at Tua's situation. Tua's legit. Tua can thread that rock, but that line couldn't protect him, man. And that's the reason Miami did not have the season that they had because they could not protect Tua.
What about Will Levis?
Well, this is what I want to say about Young versus Stroud.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think we'll probably have to go in the right situation. But I think CJ Stroud can go somewhere and elevate a team. You know what I mean? Like, I think Justin Fields has elevated the Bears. Like, even though the record is not showing it, you saw a kid carrying that team by himself. Like, literally, if he wasn't on that team, we talking about an 0-17 team without
Yeah.
without Justin Fields. So I think CJ could probably be just as good.
Now CJ has three first round draft picks at the wide receiver on that team. So I mean, I don't know how much elevating he's doing other than them elevating him.
Hey, we can say the same thing about Hurts.
Hurts at Oklahoma?
Oklahoma and Alabama.
Facts.
Yeah, okay. You can say that about Joe Burrow too. That's true. Okay. Yeah, okay. But I mean, I don't know about CJ Stroud. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think the NFL is moving towards quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson, or at least wants to.
They have to. Here's the thing, is that they've always been there. We've seen the Cuttingham's, we've seen the Mike Vicks. They just haven't been given the opportunity.
So real quick, what you guys think about the potential of Jeff Bezos buying the Commanders? Any thoughts on that?
I think
I'm hearing he's
it's
back in the
great.
mix.
I think it's great because Washington right now is just in need of life. From the name change to the things that's going on, in their business culture. I think they just need a whole new transition. I think the guy's business savvy. I know he knows how to run the organization, and he's been a winner from point one. So I think that'd be good, and also I think it gives Washington that breath of fresh air because he'll pour into the city the money that it needs in order for them to be competitive again.
What you think, Phil? I know you got your pulse on the Commanders and the feeling of Washington fans.
I think it's a good thing. I think the Washington community has kind of known about it for a while because the NFL has kind of told them, "Hey, you got to sell this team by a certain time." I don't know what the overall business culture thing is about Bezos having it because you're giving more power to him and more control. And pretty much, I think it's a good thing. I think they need to do some things. If he cares about the team, I think he understands what needs to happen as far as bringing a lot of the Washington Commanders, Redskins back. Hopefully, they change the name back to Redskins and kind of clean that up a little bit. That publicity stunt went, bad name for them. They kind of clean up what's going on in Washington and make the team viable, do the right thing. So we'll see. Hopefully, he does the right thing by it.
Well, I'm curious to know what are you gonna do about the name on the stadium because I once he take over, it can't be called FedEx Field. I mean, he's basically taking over a lot of work from FedEx. So I mean, would it be Amazon Prime?
Field? Prime Stadium.
Prime Stadium. What would they call it? I mean, Whole Food Stadium. Washington
shipping arena.
The Post.
2-day shipping arena.
Hello Fresh arena.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So no doubt, man. All right, man. Let's transition on to the NBA. The latest going on in there. Tonight, like I said, it's Wednesday. Ja Morant is playing tonight. He makes his return coming off the bench. I'm gonna have to see what he's doing tonight.
Man, he's against the Rockets. He's gonna drop. I mean, I wouldn't rush him back. But you can go in the Rockets and get your life, man. The Rockets is like the old school New York where you can go there, Madison Square Garden, put up numbers.
Well, right now they got a 2-point lead with 3 minutes left in the fourth with the Rockets. Like the Rockets giving them some trouble here. So
yeah, I guess them young boys are being disrespectful tonight.
I guess so. I mean, Ja coming off the bench, he got 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So he's still doing his thing. But Jackson is leading the team in points, so it's a close one right now. I didn't understand this whole suspension and all the hoopla over this.
It's all about the image of the media, and I think that and also let's be real about it. I mean, it's a culture thing because and it's kind of negative because he grew up with both parents in his life, so it's kind of making people wonder what's really going on with the guy, and where's his head really at? And you grew up in both
I
parents,
don't know what
and yeah, I
what
can't put this together.
what difference does it make? I can't. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. You grew up with both parents. You went to private school. What would that mean? You don't play with guns. Or you don't like going to the strip club. I mean,
No, Marv, so
what
Marv,
that's.
so I didn't say nothing about the strip clubs. He's a single man. And I heard, hey, and Lemon Pepper Lou let us know that they got
I,
some of the best lemon pepper wings ever. But
I'm about to say lemon pepper wings at the
yeah, lemon
strip
pepper
club. I mean,
wings. But
it ain't got nothing to do with it.
I say this
His
to this
dad
is,
probably told him about the strip club to go to.
I
Who
know,
knows?
but here's the thing is that you don't see a lot of people, putting things on social media. We grew up in the times. I'm gonna date myself a
You're
little bit.
right.
We didn't have that social media that could,
That captures
your
everything.
your bad moment is captured, and now you
Right.
have to answer for that. I
Well,
talked to my kids today and let them know you can't have catastrophic days
right.
like I had. Not to say that I didn't have them.
Right.
Yeah, we all didn't have catastrophic days. We
Oh
just didn't have
yeah.
social
It wasn't
media
recorded.
to put
Yeah.
it there in real time. And
Yeah.
John, and I think that's the part that I think that he needs to be smart about, because now you're making billionaire decisions. And people say he's making billionaire decisions. He's not a billionaire. Exactly. Because with that type of behavior, you won't be.
My stance on it is, he's a young kid. I've been young. We
Yeah.
made dumb decisions. Made dumb mistakes. But
Exactly.
I think I don't have a problem, the whole strip club, and even it's just the whole branding your gun, right? I feel like that's the part where it's like a line. It's a line that I feel like, I think we're in a society now where I feel like people took it very seriously. You know what I mean? I do think him branding his gun, right, is like I wouldn't have done nothing about it, but I think what they did as far as a response was kind of a political response. I think it was very like, he's a kid, right? He makes a mistake, but I do think there should be a little bit of accountability to say, if you're gonna do something like that, do it in your house. You know what I mean? With no cameras around, no, like, because you're representing, you know what I mean, the NBA, right? We all have 9 to 5s here. We're representing an organization, a company, right? So I think there are some consequences to when you're doing certain things, right? So I think people looked at kind of the political response he did as far as branding his gun and and he has a young following, right? So
Yeah.
I know. So that I'm for me, I get it, man. Like, I was young. I was in my 20s before I did dumb things. Luckily, I was blessed enough to be able to get over those humps, right? But
Yeah.
I just hope going forward, he's like, you know what, man, if I'm participating in those things, man, you gotta do it a little bit differently, right? Because he's at a different
Yeah.
stature. He's in a different public life.
Right. Right.
So
Absolutely. And yeah, no, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think you bring up the point. You both guys bring up this point. He's young. He's got to do it differently because people are watching.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because now that stuff is getting captured. If only we had video and pictures of Michael Jordan,
Yep.
Scottie Pippen,
Yep.
and Lord have mercy, Dennis Rodman,
Yeah.
and what he was doing.
Yeah.
Man, we don't need those
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, we don't need it.
We
We
don't
don't
need
need
those
we,
pictures.
we
Hey,
don't
hey,
need that. We
because
don't
his
need that
last
video.
dance would have been well before then.
We don't need that video.
We don't
Hey,
need
don't it? Hey, Will
Yeah.
Chamberlain,
Will
Magic
Chamberlain.
Johnson. Yeah, hey,
What?
Yeah.
Oh no, I
man.
Yeah.
definitely don't want to see what Magic was doing.
Oh
Come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
Mike Tyson.
Magic. Oh yeah, Mike Tyson.
Let me just make this point real quick.
Yep.
The Warriors beat the Mavericks. So the Warriors won. So just to shut up Joey the GM. I know he posting this all on Facebook when the Lakers win, when the Clippers lose, and when the Warriors lose. So Warriors won, just so he knows. Out there, and you can stop posting on Facebook. Lakers are still the 11th seed.
Oh no.
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
Warriors
And
out of
and
the play-in game.
But you're talking about so you're talking about the Western Conference, which they talk about the top three. We got Denver, who really's been driving. They've been on cruise control for the
Yes, sir.
whole season, which is
Yep.
scary because you never had to face any adversity. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're facing adversity. Let's see if they can come out of it. And now you got the
They've been
Kings.
winning. They've been winning without y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But now
yeah.
you have to do that reintegration because right now he kind of feels like I'm gonna be judged. So now they're gonna have to, build that family around him and say, hey, look, y'all not gonna attack him because he's gonna have to go on the road. You only get so much home cooking, even though they top two seed, they're gonna get majority of their home cooking. But I want to talk about those Sacramento Kings.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
man, yes, they
Yeah.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Mike Brown, coach of the year.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're on a little bit of a skid right now, but yeah, no, I got the Kings, got Mike Brown, coach of the year. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job to be third in the Western Conference with the Kings. Finally.
And I
I
like the
mean, the
way
Kings
they,
haven't been
yeah,
good since Chris Webber retired
Chris
or
Webber
left.
and White Chocolate, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Doug Christie and Lottie Devos, they had it,
And
and
Paige
this
Stojakovic.
Sweet J, Sweet J,
Yeah.
and I think they need that because right now, quiet is kept. Sacramento is still in the LA vicinity, so that West Coast vibe as far as LA, they losing their vibe because I'm gonna give you a little bit of credit as far as I'm gonna speak about it for a minute, but the Lakers outside of LeBron busting that scoring title. I mean, they've been had a flat season. Everybody else on the Western, from the Golden State, the Clippers, who's the best team in LA, and then you got, Sacramento. I mean, what did we talk? Why are we talking about the Lakers like the
Man,
Cowboys? You ain't win nothing.
I'm not talking about the Lakers no more, man. It's not even in the playing game. Moving on. Eastern Conference.
Hey,
Then Phil,
so
you got any
yeah,
thoughts on this Western Conference, man?
I think it's wide open.
You think it's wide open?
The
Oh,
West
as
is
far as
just
the championship.
as far
One of
as
the
yeah. At
Yeah,
first,
okay.
when Durant got to Phoenix, I was like, oh man, Phoenix is going to come out the West, but now he got hurt. It's wide open again.
it was never wide open, Phil, because I go back to the tape.
Before he got to
I
Phoenix,
said
it was wide
one.
open. It was just like
I,
this.
s- I, s- I said he's been hurt.
Yeah.
But he was in
He hurt
Brooklyn.
himself doing warm-ups.
Warm-ups, yeah.
So he does. So you left it. You lost a lot of depth on that bench. So
Yeah.
how can you put him up there? And now, guess what? When he comes back, we're gonna go to that dirty word Marv talks about, load management.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be ready for the playing games.
No, I don't think they're going to drop that far.
Yeah.
I don't think
All
they're going to
right.
drop that far.
All right. Looking at the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee, Boston, and Philadelphia, they just on cruise control right now. With Cleveland, right behind the 76ers. But yeah, I think the Eastern Conference is top heavy.
Yeah, it's top heavy, but I think Giannis is not gonna make the same mistake that he made last year when he just did some load management, and now he's sitting as the number two seed, and now they go to Game 7, and now they got to play that in Boston. So I think he's gonna make sure that if he's gonna do load management, he's gonna do load management in the game, not as
Mm.
opposed to wearing street clothes and things of that
Well,
nature.
long as Chris Middleton is there, I think they're gonna be straight. Because that was. Not only did they have to go to Boston for the seventh game, they played without Chris Middleton
I still
and
think
went that
Boston.
far.
I still think Boston will blow them out. As Boston has the X factor, and it's that big center Williams. If Williams is there, I
There
think
you go
that
with this Williams dude.
you didn't see what
Well,
he
he's
did in the
hurt.
playoffs.
He's hurt. He's hurt though.
Exactly. So he's gonna be back for the playoffs, and when he comes back for the playoffs,
Mm,
he can move on that floor, and him and Herford on the floor moving that ball around. That's just a lot. Because I think Herford plays Giannis better head up as opposed to chasing around, a 3-point shooter.
Mm, I ain't impressed. Phil.
They won last year.
I
Men lie,
think
women lies. Numbers don't.
I think Boston. It's either Boston, Philly, or Boston, Philly, or Milwaukee. The rest of the teams in the East are just.
You're not feeling Cleveland? I'll pause for that one.
I don't think.
Tread carefully.
I don't think they have enough to beat Boston. I definitely don't think they have enough to beat Milwaukee.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough to beat Milwaukee, but they could probably give the 76ers a run for their money.
They will give the 76 and the 76ers.
I think they'll beat the 76ers.
Exactly. That's what we're saying. So
I think they'll beat the 76ers. I don't think they have enough to beat Milwaukee or Boston.
I think they have enough to beat them because they have enough big guys in order to, as far as staying in foul trouble and still keeping length on the floor. I'm gonna tell you a scary team that y'all didn't even mention. New York. Y'all better get
Yeah, I don't think
I'm not impressed with it.
Okay. Hey, play around with bubblegum money.
They're definitely not better than Cleveland.
They're a good team. They've improved. They're in the top 16. They're right now they're 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just everything below them is terrible. From the Nets, the Heat, the Hawks, the Raptors and the Bulls. They're terrible. So the Knicks, hey, yeah, they're the 5th best team, but going against Cleveland in the first round, I think Cleveland sweeps them.
But here's the thing. I'm telling you.
I don't know about that. I don't think they'll sweep them now.
I think if they drop down to 6, I think they can. I think they can give some people some problems because they can match up well against the 76ers.
I don't see it. Well, we'll see. We'll see, fellas. But look, let's go and wrap things up, man. And hey, man, I like the participation from our fans out there with our bracket challenge. We appreciate y'all, man. Hey, and thanks for joining us again. Do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.